My name is Frank Okafor. This is a presentation of my community plan. The purpose of this community plan is to apply the nursing process to a community health issue. And the purpose of presenting this PowerPoint is to publish the chosen and executed community plan. The community of interest is Gardena, a small urbanized city in Los Angeles County, California, with a population of 61,000 residents, occupying an area of 5.9 square miles. About 30% of the residents are adults. The chosen population for this community plan is adults. The location of the project is a church congregation, the Church of the Holy Communion. I have partnered with the church administrator as my liaison. The public health issue of concern is hypertension among adults, as we know that hypertension increases with age, and that the control and management of hypertension rely heavily on the knowledge, attitude, and practices of the population concerned. The community plan goes an intervention and evaluation. A community diagnosis of deficient knowledge was made. About 3 goals were earmarked, 2 short-term and 1 term goal. Intervention include health education on the prevention and management of hypertension, the knowledge, attitude, and practices. A pre and post education assessment of the knowledge, attitude, and practices was done. Definition of a community. The community is a group of any size of people who are born, live, learn, work, play, worship in a specific location. Gardena is my community that I have chosen for this project, and is a small, highly urbanized city in the South Bay region of Los Angeles metropolis, bordered in the north by Athens, on northwest by Houghton, on southwest by Torrance, on the west by Alondra Park, on the east and south by Harbor Gateway. Like I said, it occupies an area of 5.9 square miles and has a population of 61,000 residents. Gardena is famous for its stunning landscape and diverse cultural heritage. It has a wide range of cultures, races, and ethnicities: the white, the black, the African Americans, the Hispanic and Latinos, Asian American Indians, and Alaska Native, and also foreign-born persons. Gardena has a wide range of housing alternatives and is family-friendly community with exceptional good standard of living. There are a variety of private and social amenities: schools, hospitals, health centers, fitness centers, recreation centers, and parks. There are also churches, restaurants and eateries, stores and shops, shopping malls, and civic centers. Gardena has a very quiet environment and a low crime rate. Through windshield survey, I discovered that the city is rectangular in shape and very clearly demarcated by road signs, such that you will know when you enter and when you leave Gardena. Schools have enough fields and playgrounds for children to play. Buildings are in good condition in most places. Post-COVID evidence of closed businesses are seen across the city, shopping plazas, and shopping centers. Branches of major nationwide departmental stores, groceries, pharmacy stores, and franchise were also seen during the survey. Ethnic stores, Asian, African, Caribbean, Chinese, Hong Kong, Korea, Hispanic, and Mexicans were also seen, spotted all over the city. Churches of various denominations, new and old, Orthodox, Pentecostal, Catholic, Methodist, Episcopal, and several ethnic churches were also found during this survey. Restaurants and fast food of all cultures and ethnicity. There was evidence of political participation. Gardena is predominantly a democratic state, a blue state. I also find admixtures of old and new houses, single-story bungalows, and multi-story complexes built with wooden panels due to earthquake in California. This exposes the city to fire outbreaks, and when they occur, they are very devastating. There are frequent renovation and of houses, and yards are well maintained. There were no junks left in pouches. Gardena has well paved 6 feet sidewalks, stoplights, and street lights in most streets. The neighborhood is clean and every street is swept twice a week, judging from the sign postings on the road. Traffic is largely local except for freeways, and free most time they are free, most time of the day free. Community assessment. What is community assessment? It's gathering and reviewing of data on the needs and characteristics of a community. It describes needs, resources available, efforts that are made to sort out these needs, group as risk. The data collected from community assessment is useful in planning, decision making, service delivery, and evaluation. Climate. Gardena has Mediterranean climate that results in mild winters and hot, humid summers. Gardena has about approximately 32 days of rain per year on average. Demography and socio-economic and amenities. 5.1% of residents are under 5, 19.8 under 18, 16.1 under 65 and older, and 52.2 are females. 1.9 are veterans. The median household income is 68,413. 12.3% are poor, and 12.0% are unemployed. Health and education. 6.6% is disabled. 12.7% are uninsured. 20.4 are Medicaid recipients, whereas 2.8 use WIC. 13.8 of all employees in Gardena are from healthcare sector, and 18% of eligible students are in high school. 23% have bachelor's degree. Vital statistics. The main causes of morbidity in Gardena include heart disease, cancer, and unintentional injury. And the main causes of mortality include heart disease, cancer, and stroke. About 8,000 births among the 10 million population was delivered in 2020. 2.6% fetal death per 1,000 live births. About abortion rate is about 19.2 per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44. Community partners and resources. For this project, I have partnered with the church administrator of the Church of Holy Communion Gardena as my liaison. The church administrator herself oversees the daily running of the church. And she coordinated all aspects of my project and served as intermediary in all communications and partnerships. The project location is the Church of the Holy Communion, Gardena. And the project population is adult members of the church. Other stakeholders include church coordinator, the pastor, and the church board. There are a number of resources that are available to residents of Gardena and the church, which is the location of the project. These include the people concerned. It's an agent that has a coordinated care, provides coordinated care for homeless, abused, and disabled. They provide short and long-term housing, mental health, homeless, and housing services. They have outreach services, drug and alcohol abuse treatment, domestic violence assistance, life skills and wellness for these residents. We also have Los Angeles Christian Health Centers. They provide patient-centered healthcare outside of the clinic walls, in housing facilities, in shelters, encampments, and streets. The aim of this agency is to restore health and healing to the homeless and underprivileged. We also have the Public Health Foundation Enterprise Week program. They provide easy access to free nutritious food to pregnant women, infants, and children in Gardena and in this place of my location, the location of my project. And they also provide nutrition counseling and breastfeeding assistance and referral to community services. Community health diagnosis. The basis for this diagnosis is that the proportion of adults in the community of interest is a little significant. And incidence and prevalence of the health problem, which is hypertension among adults, also inform the diagnosis. The diagnosis, deficiency of knowledge among the population of concern, evidenced by the request for information, and the demography of the population. They have lower literacy level among them, and older adults are expected to be out of reach with current knowledge. My community diagnosis is therefore deficient knowledge among adults in Gardena, California, related to lack of knowledge as evidenced by the request for information and high prevalence of undiagnosed and uncontrolled hypertension. Community health plan. The plan is to articulate detailed age-appropriate health education that will address the deficiency in knowledge so as to positively impact the knowledge, attitude, and practices of the affected population, such that in the end, it will stimulate a strong positive lifestyle and behavior changes critical to controlling hypertension, and also to leave a trail of teaching through reminders such as the TriFood brochure and flyer. I have developed 3 goals for this plan, health plan, 2 short-term goals and 1 long-term goal were earmarked. Short-term goal number 1, that by the completion of health education, participants will verbalize a greater comprehension of disease process than before the education. Short-term goal 2, that at the completion of health education, participants will have a higher degree of awareness of ways to prevent or delay development of hypertension than before the health education. And long-term goal 3, that in 1 year, the proportion of people with uncontrolled hypertension will significantly be lower than the current 4.3% as enunciated by Hale et al. 2017. Intervention for community health plan. The basis for this intervention is that deficiency of knowledge sustain high incidence and prevalence of hypertension. Incidence and prevalence of hypertension are affected by the knowledge, attitude, and practices of the people that are concerned, according to Machalane et al. 2022. The resources for the intervention include the liaison, who is the church administrator of the Church of the Holy Communion, the church administrator, the church congregation, and the church board. The intervention activities include health education session in the church hall using PowerPoint presentation, pre and post education assessment for evaluation purposes, and distribution of TriFood brochure and flyer as takeaway. Evaluation of community plan. Health education assessment. There was pre and post education assessment of participants. And after the lecture and evaluation, the short-term goals were number 1 was met, because at the conclusion of education, the attendees expressed better understanding of the disease process than before the teaching. Short-term goal 2 was also met. At the close of the teaching, participants demonstrated a higher level of awareness of the practices and behaviors to prevent and delay the development of hypertension than they had before the health education. However, the long-term goal 3 was not met because the goal has a time frame of 1 year and we need more time to be evaluated so as to reassess the proportion of the people with uncontrolled hypertension. And this is expected to be below the current 4.3% to confirm that the goal was met. Conclusion. I have undertaken a community project whose primary goal is to address a specific community health issue using the nursing process ADPI. An overview of the community was done through windshield survey. And by community assessment, data was relevant data on the needs and characteristics of this community was gathered. And during the process of the community assessment, I was able to identify a community health, public health issue, hypertension, and arrive at a diagnosis of deficient knowledge among other adults related to lack of knowledge as evidenced by requests and high prevalence of hypertension. I partnered with the Lyzen, the church administrator of the site, the project site, which is the Church of the Holy Communion. I identified 3 goals, 3 short-term and 1 long-term goals. 2 short-term goals were met, whereas the long-term goal, because of the time frame, needs more time to be evaluated. At the end of the project, there were 1 or 2 recommendations. One is to further education for a larger congregation and a younger congregation, such that they may be caught at a younger age to imbibe the teachings of this health education. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you. God bless.